Here we are on location, New York City, Eddie Hearn at the American DAZN offices for Fight Week. Richardson Hitchins versus George Kambosos. Mate, welcome. How do you feel? And let's get straight into it.
Feel good, mate. Made the trip over. Excited for this fight, because I think it's a great sort of crossroads fight. You've got Richardson Hitchins, who's one of the potential stars of American boxing, undefeated kid, from the same kind of school as Tio and Shakur and Keyshawn. And then you've got George. And I think George is really live in this fight. People are writing him off, people are giving him no shot. He's a tough, tenacious son of a bitch. Excuse my language, sorry George. But that's what he is. And he's a dog, and he's got to make it a dog fight in there. But he's coming for glory, for history. And I think this victory would make him one of the biggest ever stars and achievers within Australian boxing. So Hitchins with it all to do, a little bit of pressure on him to make a statement in there. And George can go in and relax, a la Teofimo Lopez all those years ago when no one gave him a shot.
Eddie, we were here 4 or 5 weeks ago for that Riyadh season down here. Teofimo Lopez versus Kambosos, Golden White. This fight here that's sort of swept under the radar, I think, to a lot of people. But in Fight Week, there's a lot of trash talk and it's heated. It feels like we are against Teofimo Lopez back in 2021.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I wanted to make the fight. We like the build-up, we like characters. George is always going to give you that. And by the way, Hitchins can talk that smack as well, and he really believes in himself. So today at the presser, you'll see those two come together. The face-to-faces have been great. It's going to build into a big event for Saturday night. And it's a really, really good fight. And looking forward to the outcome. I remember watching the Teofimo Lopez fight, and I just couldn't believe what I saw that night. And it's going to be really intriguing this Saturday.
It wasn't for you, that fight would have gone straight back to a minimal person who kind of made that happen.
Yeah, I'll never forget that first bit, because it was us, Top Rank, and Triller. And this was the time when Triller were going crazy, and we were all sitting on a Zoom, and I really wanted to win that purse bid because it was Teofimo Lopez, and for us at the time it was a really big name to have on DAZN. And I can't remember the exact numbers, but it's like, bid from Matchroom, I can't remember, 3 million. Bid from Top Rank, 2 million. I thought, we won it. And a bid from Triller, 640,000. And we're all sniggering going, Triller, what are they doing? 640. And then you just heard the IBF guy go, no, sorry, 6,600,000. And I was like, what? Anyway, obviously they never put the fight on, it fell through, and it went back to us. So we staged the fight. Teofimo has always told me it was my fault that he lost that night, even though I had neither fighter. And what we saw was an all-time classic at Madison Square Garden. And you know better than me, but that has to sit as, if not the greatest, well, not always, Mark, but like in this occasion, the greatest win by an Australian fighter on foreign soil. I mean, what else? Back to the Fennec days, and I don't know, Jeff Hardy, and but like for me, that was
the only Australian ever to claim all the belts. He's the only Australian to ever win a world title in New York City.
Really?
So
I'll be using that at the presser today. Thank you.
No problem. Natural Boxers here live with Eddie Hearn at the DAZN offices. Eddie, the winner of this fight, there's so much potential after this. I know Hitchins is talking about, potential Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez fights. George, can you run it back with Lopez in the future? We've seen some other big guys at 140 as well. Where do you see? Because it's always hard for you. Everyone says, oh yeah, but Hearn's got them both, it's easy. It actually could be quite hard.
Listen, when I represent both guys, or I've got options on both guys, let them fight. Look, whatever happens, happens. All I know is the winner of this fight puts them into massive fights against massive names in the division. For George, it could be bringing a huge fight back to Australia. He's still that guy that over the last, when was the Hearn fight? Was it 8 years ago?
2017.
Okay, 17, so coming up for a decade. He's the only guy that has brought big stadium fights to Australia. People keep talking about Tim Tszyu, all these other guys. George is the guy that has done it. And, he's the only guy, in my opinion, that can possibly do it again. Because when you look in a division, that's the superstar names. Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez rematch, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson. So, for George, it would just make all those big fights. But for Richardson, I'm giving this interview really with a focus on George, because you guys are mainly an Australian outlet.
And Pacific.
Yeah, but for us, Hitchins is also, this is his coming out fight. This is his standout fight to make a statement for him to grab those big fights as well.